the thing about how to score a job and all of that. Sometimes some people just go into a job. I mean, a lot of people, like, I put up a job and I see people just um, apply without even, like, there, for example, my job is for office manager, for example, and you see somebody from engineering is applying for this and has no experience in this, just to just send your resume. You cannot just send resume like that. You're wasting your time. Okay? It has to be somehow related to the thing that you're doing. Just pick 3 or 4 or 5 things and just go for it. And just push for, like, these, either these companies or these jobs that fits you. If you are an engineering major and that's all you've done, engineering, and then you're applying for a liberal arts thing, like for an office manager or a secretary position, you're immediately going to get no. So you might as well not do it. The other thing, like, a lot of people, like you just said, like, good schools. Now, I went to the top schools in the world. Whatever you say is not going to impress me. Whatever you say, okay? Because I've been to the top. So what is going to impress me? Your efforts, like the effort that you have made, okay? Your interpersonal skills, the experiences that you had. Those I would look at, like, oh, okay, this is good, okay? And then, of course, the way you look, you come to me, for an interview. I mean, if you're like just coming as if like you don't care, you don't know, like, here's like a job at the American Institute. You have not even done some small due diligence about what is American Institute, okay? I mean, and somebody who has, if you have the same level, I would give him or her the job, because at least he or she knows more about this, has done some work. So that's why apply for the things, just do a little bit of a due diligence, do a little bit of your work, so that whatever that you're applying for, that actually you say, hey, you know what? This course that you have in this thing, I really like it, and that's why I applied, because I'm going to ask you, why do you want to be here? So you have to tell me something. Well, because it's American student, and I want to make money. Everybody does that. Okay? So, but you want to tell me something that's more interesting than that. And then the way you dress, like, I have to see that this is important for you. Yeah. Now, you don't have to dress three-piece suit if you don't have it, but dress clean and professional. You can't come in here with sneakers and like some t-shirt and like, hey man, I'm just.
Which is what a lot of to interject, which is a lot of what the millennials and Gen Z people do. A relative of mine, she works in the New York fashion industry, right? So in New York City, that's like a big deal. Big. Imagine how competitive that is. Yeah. Everyone around the world wants to work in New York City, and she has people coming in there like dressed in like shorts, t-shirts, and like flip-flops. Like, hey man, you're supposed to express ourselves. Like, yes. But I mean, let's be real here. Don't come into a job interview. People have like nose rings and nails through their noses and expect to get a job at a reputable company. I mean,
or to be taken seriously,
or be even taken seriously, yeah. Right? Like, again, like, you know what? It's like, again, everything's a trade-off. You have the right to express yourself as an American in any way that you want,
as a human being.
As a human being, yeah. At least everywhere else. But then you also suffer the consequences of your actions, and it's just a reality of the world, yes. Right? You can be the smartest person, and they would just do these videos. It's like, oh, look at this like person playing a violin in the subway. You ever see those videos? Yeah. It's like he gets paid like $100,000, but because he's in the subway, nobody cares. Like, context and how you present yourself is important. And again, like the resume, the degree, that's all a foot in the door. The most important thing, and this is true, maybe not, is relationships, establishing credibility, usefulness, right? Because again, we talk about the real world. People who, I'll give you another quick story. Good friend of mine from college went to the same state school as me. When I graduated college in 2010, that was when the economy was terrible. Like, nobody was hiring a job. She managed to get a job working for Pepsi, big corporate company, right? She worked for sales. She was in sales in Pepsi. She was there for a couple of years. And then eventually her position, she was basically going to be the assistant to some like 20-year-old French billionaire's kid who just got like immediately promoted to like a high level position. And clearly he had no idea what he was doing. So she's like, she quit because she had dignity, I guess. But this is the real you will experience these people throughout your career, at least in upper level areas in American workforce, I would say.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just to kind of sum up things, of course, your CV is important. Well, first of all, the difference between, does anybody know the difference between a resume and CV? Okay, CV is more extended, like 4 or 5 pages. It talks description about what you did. Resume is 1 page about this is my job, this title, and here. That's it, just 1 line. Maximum 2 lines. You don't. It's not description. It's just assistant manager, McDonald's, Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know,
1
or
page,
whatever.
1 page, work experience, education, done.
Yes.
CV is more detail, and they usually tell you. So if someone says specifically want the resume or CV, know that there is a difference there.
Yes. So that's the first thing, and then of course you cannot pack everything that you have in you have to leave some space between them. Your resume has the basic. Like sometimes you have to change your resume to the work. Now I've worked in the government, I worked in NGOs, and I worked in businesses. So I try to highlight whatever is like this thing. If it's business, I'll focus more on business. It's not that I'm hiding other ones, but I'm focusing more on this. And your cover letter is important. How you have to say there's a standard way of doing that. And then one of the other things important, if you're like jumping from job to job, I would be like, what? So you're bored from every job. So that's like something else. That's a long term. If I'm looking for a long term, then I will need you. But what other thing that makes you, that I would be like thinking about you is your skills. You need to have experience. You don't have enough experience. Like the thing would be, how can I get experience if no one hires me? Okay, now if all your college time, all you have done is studied, then you are not actually into, you're not into any sort of, you're not motivated enough, I think. That's what I would say. Because you're just studying or just having fun.
Right. Something that I would encourage you to do, maybe you have or haven't yet, but something, again, I personally didn't have, again, some people have lots of support where they can work for free, right? Internships.
Yeah.
Very important. I never did that when I was in college because I never thought of it. No one helped me. No one guided me. But again, it's another, class stratification thing. I knew a guy, a really good friend of mine, smart guy. He went to UCLA. He studied global studies. He did his master's degree in learning Mandarin Chinese and studied anti-terrorism and anti-nuclear proliferation studies. All right?
Big words,
Big words, right? Big words there. He did an internship at United Nations in New York City. And they said, great, thank you. 6 months in New York City, unpaid. We want you to come to Geneva, but we're also not going to pay you. And we're not going to provide housing for you. So clearly those jobs are for people who that's not a concern, right? So that's going to come up. But again, that's more in when it comes to like political jobs like that, that's more prevalent. But I would say the most important thing in your college years is to obviously get good grades. But if you have any opportunity to actually get practical experience, like be willing, it's like an investment in yourself. Like you might be pissed off that you're working for free, but this is the time to do it. Do an internship. That's one thing I never did when I was in university.
Well, I did, and I was at the United Nations.
You did, really? All right, you got the same experience? Yeah?
All did. I had a master's degree from top 20 universities, and I was just shuffling paper.
Right.
They're not going to give you a job for you to do something else. It's just you're going to be a glorified. You're going to be a secretary. Yeah. So don't you think for a second that like then you have to like the thing you were saying before is knowing people, your relations. You're building relations in school and internships. If I don't see you doing internships, you have to be really impressive for me. Let me just tell you about one of these things. So I'm an Ivy Leaguer, okay? So I've been to these Ivy League schools and all of this. Somebody asked me, what is your GPA? Okay, my GPA was 3.85 out of 4. That's like 96 GPA. And you know what he says? It's average. Yeah, they said it's average. I was like, okay, you know. So you know, I mean, if you're not 4.0, you know, in that level, I'm telling you, I'm busting my behind. And it's like, how can 3.85 be average? But you know,
Right.
to a lot of people are, to 4.0s it is. Like, yeah, okay, you know, you still need some work done. That's 97, that's 96 out of 100. But
Or you're one of our former presidents, George W. Bush, who famously said he graduated Yale with C's.
with C's.
And he famously gave a speech. He said, "And if you're a C grade student, one day even you can become president."
Exactly.
But you know,
George Bush is a C average student. You see, it has nothing to do with how much.
And he was probably just drunk the whole time. Probably in a
Probably he doesn't know
fraternity,
anything.
you know?
He doesn't remember any of this.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any of this stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, your relations are very important. You don't think it's important. Like, some people come to me and I say, I'm offering you free internships. They're like, I want to work for you for free? Dude, I am teaching you for free. You see this experience, I'm giving it to you. It's like, this is people. See, if you don't understand what you're given, then you're not for me. Go somewhere else. Okay? You think if you're making, I don't know, $300-400 somewhere else is going to help you in the long run? But we're teaching you things here, and I'm not saying that we're offering internship. I'm just saying, you know. But if you are smart, you're going to work. Like, why do you think I worked for like 6 months in the UN for free? That gave me a certain amount of knowledge that I would not have gotten it for free. I mean, for money. It's just, I had to work for it. I have to understand the systems. I worked in two different things. One was international, but they both were international actually, because at the UN is nothing is local. Everything is international. There were two big international things. One was nuclear proliferation, and the other was this habitat international kind of a conference that was happening. I think it was happening in Turkey or Middle East or someplace, or Egypt or somewhere. It was at that time. And you know, with that degree, with that, you know, with all the information, I was still doing free internships. So you have to do your internships. You don't prove to me that you can do work, I don't think you're going to be part of my team, because you're not applying yourself. Okay? If you're saying, look, I had up to 500 people under me as well at one point. Okay? Doing some things. Now, I'm not like, I'm boss. Like, I would clean the stuff. Because this is the time. You need to be part of a team. You have no time like, well, I'm an Ivy Leaguer, I need this. Who are you? You need to actually understand what needs to be done. And if nobody else does it, you need to do it, because at the end of the day, nobody says who did what, but did they got this job done. So I'm looking for, what I'm trying to tell you is, I'm looking for a mindset. I'm not looking for your impressive 4.0. It doesn't do anything for me. And anybody who's smart in business, they know that 4.0 is never good in business. You know, there's none of these people, of Steve Jobs or I don't know who else, could you cut that up please, or anybody else, none of them are 4.0s. Okay? Yes, they just are good scholars, maybe working at let's say World Bank, if you want to be a banker, or you want to be like somebody who's spewing up information. Yeah, for that it's good. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for you to go sit there. I want people of action. I mean, maybe somebody would want this. People of action, people who can do things. If you can offer me more. You know what the Swiss Army knife is? Swiss Army knife? Yes, this little thing that has a plier, it has like knife, it has everything that you know, every multi-tool. You need to be multi-tool. Like, I would be like, oh, you know website, that's good. You know SMM, good. You know English, good. You know this, good. Even if you have some idea, I would want you, because you're going to do the job of 2-3 people. You'd be like, hey, I don't want to do the job of 2-3 people. Why would I want to pay you? Why would I want to hire you? So of course, you need to make yourself useful for me as an employer. If you're not making yourself useful, like, oh, listen, I'm just a prima donna, I'm just going to come and go and do like this, okay, I'm just going to give you $200. Do your work. Why would I want to even hire you first? Why would I want to take you to places so you could learn more? I have contacts you can use. I could just make a recommendation. People say, oh, recommendation, very nice. You have to understand what you're giving me and I'm giving you probably twice. Don't just think about what you're getting, what I'm getting. Think about what you're getting. That's really important in this. So making that connection to people. Now, if you like, let's just say you want, and I'm not saying, I'm a big time, let's just say, or somebody that you really want to work for. I'm a big company, whatever. If you could get to know me or me to get to know you and doing some things in over the long period of time, doing internships and all of this, I'm like, yeah, this kid is smart and he's dedicated. I want him in my team. Why won't I want you in my team? You're doing all the stuff. You're making me look good. I'm going to make you look good. I'm going to give you opportunities that nobody would give it to you. So you have to understand how you're doing it.
Just to interject here, and we have our two new friends here today. So here's the thing. So again, you guys want to stay in Uzbekistan. That's your, at least as of now, that's your career goal. Let's say you do study overseas in the United States for a semester and you do an internship there. That's probably more valuable to you than your entire 4 years at university. Because then because you want to do business, right? Or finance. I work for this business in New York City, or even it doesn't have to be New York City. It could be Denver. It could be any city. Or maybe you go to the United States for a semester and work at a nonprofit, doing international relations. That probably would be more useful to you than your entire educational career even just being here. Because you tell me, I assume if you say that in Uzbekistan, oh, I work for this company in the United States, that probably has value. Would you say yes or no? I don't know. You tell me. Well, not just experience, but foreign experience, right? Because you're in competition with everybody else in Uzbekistan or Tashkent. And it's probably a lot easier to do. Do you even do internships here? So yeah, again, it's all about your value. If you got a resume, 2 resumes, you're going for the same job, and this resume, oh, this guy did an internship in Boston, Massachusetts, working for a financial firm, or this guy did an internship in San Francisco doing foreign relations, they're probably going to choose you over somebody else who doesn't have that experience. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, that's it. So it's as now, a lot of people, of course, connections help. Of course. Now, if my good friend says that, look, my son or my cousin or something like that, it's not like I'm going to blindly take that kid, but I would say, oh, let me see this. And I'll say, I'm going to tell my HR, put this on the top of shortlist this person. But if he's an idiot, I'm saying no. Because at the end of the day, yeah, if I have 10,000 people, like one small job in some place, doesn't matter, I could give it to anybody. But if I have a key position, I'm looking for key people because I want to build a team. Okay? When I want to build a team, I want to build it around people because don't think about you're giving me your time. I'm giving you money for your time. But I'm giving you something that you don't have. I'm giving you the extra experience. Like, look, do it this way. Do it this way. You're seeing this. You're young, you have at least 40 years to go for retirement, let's just say. So in this span of time, any more information, new information is important for you. So if you want to be part of that team, now there's 2 kinds of people. One, they just want a salary. Hey, I want 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 8 to 6, 9 to 6, whatever it is. I want to do that, go home and come back. That's fine. That's one thing. That's no problem. That's one kind of people. The other ones are who want to get ahead, even if they don't want to replace me or to have their own jobs, but they want to have, they're more ambitious. They want to do different things. They want to experience different things. Okay? So those are different. So, if you're just want to be a bureaucrat, you just want to, fill your time with something, good to go to the government. Okay? Or go to some bank, you just sit down and sip some tea and then talk and then like this. But if you want to work in business, you need to show me that you can do something, okay? So that I could take you to the next level. Now, if I see you have potentials, then I can invest in you. Hey, why don't you take this course? I've done it many times. Why don't you take this course, let's say the SMM course, it's going to help you. I'm paying for it. you're getting extra information. I mean, extra skill that you could use it anywhere. Okay, it's really difficult to find good bosses because most of half the bosses are idiots. Really, because I don't want to work for bosses because I think they're idiots. They just don't know how to work with somebody. So if you find a good boss, stick with him or her. It's somebody who can teach you more, because it's much better to stick with one person who knows what to do. You know they're going someplace. Not like an idiot who just wants to, I just want to make $20,000 and that's it, a month or a week or all this. You have to always try to do bigger. It just depends on what you want as well. So if you're like a bureaucrat, yeah, nothing. But if you want, do whatever you want. But if you're looking to expand and maybe one day have a business of your own at some point, you have to learn on somebody else's experience. The last thing I want to say is, like, one of the things that I say in most countries, but here as well, they don't appreciate is specialists or experts. What is the use for experts? You're getting all that information in short amount of time. Okay, so if you have a business or you have something and you have like an experts come in, an expert in a week, 2 weeks, a month can do the work that your people will do in a couple of years. So this is so it's really important. If somebody is going to mentor you, somebody who has experience in mentoring you, soak it up like a sponge. Okay, because in 6 months, a year or 2 years, you will have a lot of this person's experience. So that's also important, the kind of jobs that you want, the kind of people as well. But at the same time, you have to be useful. You have to have some skills, come with multi-skills, so that you could do like for a smaller company. It means smaller companies are looking for more Swiss Army knife kind of, multi function kind of a person. Big ones, specialists in one area, do that. So depends on what you want to do.
I think that's it, unless